great way to start. Big laugh. Because I went to I have two friends here, and I'm like, 3, 2, 1, and they're like, we're going to sit in meditation. Oh my God, we're sitting. Welcome, everyone. This is my first Facebook Live event. And, Facebook's letting me know that I'm live, and I'm already building an audience. Oh, I'm so excited. Welcome. One note I have for myself, slow down today because I get really excited that I'm going to do this. So I just need to take a breath. As do you, I'm guessing. All right. So here we are. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited you're here. My friends Bridget and John are here. They are sitting with us and hanging out with us today. And this is a good thing. I'm just going to move this a little bit right like this. Okay, better. All right. Hope you like my lighting. This is my bookshelf. Very excited. This is my little couch. I used to call it the Nettie couch. My dog Ned. So I'm here to do some counter programming today. And I mean that in two ways. One of which is this is counter programming for the programming that's on every single news media right now. It's on inside my house. My 92-year-old father-in-law is watching it in his bedroom on MSNBC. He was like last night, "What's the number for MSNBC? I don't want to watch the Fox by mistake." He's very sweet. World War II vet, navigator, bomber, Germany. Yeah, 1945. Cool dude. So, counter-programming because it's going on out there in the world. But really, I'm here to do some actual counter-programming. The programming in your head. This is what I do. I'm a big advocate and a student of reprogramming myself because all of us have had some interesting training in our lives. If it's not with our crazy families, it's with our culture, and it's more rampant than ever, this programming. So welcome to my little counter programming session here today. We'll go probably, I don't know. We could go. We'll maybe go 45, 60. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to go yet. But here's the plan. And for those of you who like to know the plan, because some people don't get on the boat unless they know the itinerary, and that's fine. And other of you are like, screw the plan, let's just go. Here's the plan. I'm going to do a little sitting meditation. I'll walk you through that a little bit, but we'll also be in some silence. That'll probably go about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about some things that I think could maybe, I don't know, help settle us all down a little bit, or wake us all up. You know, my very first Dharma teacher, Katriana Reed, used to say to the beginner meditators when they came, she'd all ask everyone around the room, "So why have you come to meditate? Why are you here to learn to meditate?" And people are like, "Oh, I'm here to get some peace and serenity in my life. I'm here to calm the thoughts in my mind. I'm here to be able to finally have some stillness." And then as the 8-week course would ensue, every week as we sat longer and longer periods, people would realize that there was very little peace or quiet in their heads because they were now finally listening to their thoughts for the first time. So that might happen today while we're sitting. And that's really, really normal. Your head might just be blah, 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 blah. And that's part of it. That's part of it. Katriana also used to say to me, give it 10 years and see how you like it. And it's true, because after about 10 years, something gets into your bones with this stuff. I've been doing it now for about 20 years. I don't sit regularly every day, but I do moments of mindfulness all day long. I could be in line at the Trader Joe's. I could be at a red light. It doesn't matter, wherever it is. I just find that place and just come back to myself. So we're going to do a little coming back to ourselves this morning. And I see a bunch of little chat things coming by and things. I can't see you read it yet, and I will get to you guys later, and we'll maybe have a little Q&A too. But thank you for being here first of all. Thank you for all your little heart things that are floating by, little thumbs ups that are floating by, and your little words. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And really, thank yourself. Thank yourself for showing up. My friend Bridget just had a big deep breath, which is like totally it. It's like, oh yeah, man. Because this is what it is about. It's about showing up on whatever level you're able to show up. So here we are today, showing up here. I'm going to read a little, no, I'm going to wait. I was going to read a little Hafiz, but it might get us going in another direction because I picked one. Normally I just do it randomly and we'll do that at the end, but I picked a particular Hafiz poem, which he's like Rumi. He's an old Sufi poet, which you're going to fucking die when I read it. So that'll be in your mind now. Oh, what's the Sufi? What's the Hafiz poem? Just relax, breathe, people. We'll get to it. So what I am going to do, though, is if you are ready, get up, sit on a pillow, sit somewhere or in a chair that you can be comfortable for about 20 minutes in some stillness. You can move during the meditation. I don't do one of those practices where you have to be like stone rock. If you move and need to move or stretch, just do it fully connected to who you are and be present with it. You know, if you need to stretch your shoulders, you know, really be with your shoulders while you stretch them. Mindfully, we call that. I have a bell in front of me. I'm going to ring the bell 3 times. That's the tradition I come from. I learned to meditate via Thich Nhat Hanh, a famous Zen Vietnamese Buddhist monk who is just an amazing jewel of a human being. And his tradition, they ring the bell 3 times. And before the first ring, they just touch the bell, which is waking up the bell. It's kind of like letting your mind and body know that we're going to do this. And with each bell I ring, let that be a chance for you to connect to the sound of it. And the sound will help you just connect to where you are. You don't have to feel anything in particular or do anything. And I'm going to walk us through a little bit of the meditation at the beginning here. But just want to let you know I'm going to ring this bell. And of course, if people show up in the middle of this and I'm just like my eyes closed and meditating, that'll be fun. So anyway, here we go. So I always like to invite people at the beginning of the meditation to imagine their mind like a glass of water or a pond that is muddy and it has been agitated and there's lots of kind of brownish, brackish water stirred up. And as we sit here this first few minutes, let yourself imagine that this water is stilling, that it is calm on the surface, and therefore calm throughout, and that the particulates of the mind, of this pond, of this glass, can slowly just fall and settle to the bottom. And one way we can settle this mind is by focusing our attention. So wherever you are right now, focus your attention on what you're hearing. Here we have rain, airplanes, my fireplace. Maybe you have cars, voices. Just let them be part of the space here and focus your mind on them for a few moments. And if you're new to this practice or an old vet, you will notice immediately that your mind may begin to wander. That's okay. The practice isn't about your mind being perfectly still or quiet or empty. Practice is much richer than that. The practice is how you treat yourself when you notice that the mind has wandered. So during this sitting practice, if your mind wanders, I want you to treat it like a cute little puppy that has gone off and wandered to do a to-do list or whatever it's thinking about. Doesn't matter. And when you notice that, oh, look where I've been. I've been at Disneyland for 3 minutes. How did that happen? Instead of beating yourself up, just say, oh, it's okay. Let's just come back to listening to the rain or focusing on my breath or feeling my sit bones on my pillow. Doesn't matter. The practice is in how kind you are to yourself in that moment. That's the reprogramming. That's the counter-programming. After bringing your attention to the sound around you, now focus your attention on your body. Not a picture of it in your head, but actually feel your body. Feel the weight of it. Feel where it's touching. a cushion or a chair, your buttocks, your thighs, your shins. Feel how that is holding you up. Notice the parts of your body that are contacting air. Is there a coolness, a warmth, a breeze? Just notice. Notice where you may have some tightness. Maybe slowly, mindfully, just feel into that tightness. My shoulders are tight today. And just be with the body for a few minutes. Notice if your mind wanders, bring it back kindly, sweetly. Say, it's okay, come on back. We're going to focus on the body some more. And know that this focusing is not about changing anything. It's about just being with what is. Maybe you do have a stiff shoulder today. It's okay. Just be with that tightness. Nothing to do, nothing to change. Now we can turn our attention to our breath. Just like we did with the sounds around us and our body. Just focus, notice, be with your breathing. Maybe you focus on your belly or your chest area or your throat. Nose. Doesn't matter. Pick one. And just witness this miracle of this cosmos breathing you. want you to bring a picture in your head of someone or something you love dearly. It could be your child, your spouse, your dog, your cat, any kind of a pet, but someone who instantly brings you joy and a smile on your face. Bring a picture of that person, thing, into your mind right now. And let yourself feel what it's like to just be in their presence. Look into their eyes. Feel how much they mean to you. What you would be willing to do to care for them, ease their suffering. And notice what that feels like in your body. What sensations come into your body when you see their face? Feel their presence. I know I have a little smile on my face right now. Send them a wish or a prayer or just some loving kindness right now. Even if they're dead, send it anyway. Let yourself feel what that feels like to send them loving kindness. And then thank them for coming. Maybe bow to them if that's something you feel comfortable with, or just give them a hug or a pat on the head or whatever it is. Send them off. Thank them. And now I want you to imagine, bring into your mind's eye a picture of someone who you don't really know that well. Kind of a neutral person, we'd say. Maybe someone who works at your local supermarket, the security guard at your building that you work at, maybe a neighbor down the street that you've never really had a conversation with, but someone in your life that you don't have any really overly positive or negative feelings for, just kind of a neutral person. And bring them into your mind's eye now. See their face. Maybe you don't even know their name. It's okay. But bring them in and imagine you're looking at each other eye to eye. And just know what happens when that happens between two humans, how that changes the dynamic. When you look at that person who's probably looked through all day long, or you've never really had a human moment with before, but look at them now. Imagine their life. Imagine their joys, the obstacles they're facing, their fears, their confusions, their hopes and wishes. And see if you can send some loving kindness to them in this moment. Let them know that you see them. You too have wishes and dreams and confusions and fears. That we're all in this together. And thank them for coming. Maybe bow to them. Wish them well. And send them off. Now take a moment and imagine in your mind's eye you, yourself, standing in front of you, looking eye to eye with yourself. See this glorious being of a human. See your wishes, your dreams, your confusions, your fears. See how hard you try all day long to be good, to get it right, to figure it all out. See your natural talents. See who you are without even trying. What joy and love you bring to wherever you go. Let yourself look each other in the eye. And send some loving kindness your own way. Let yourself know that you're here, you see, you love, you hold all of yourself. And then thank yourself for coming. Maybe give a little bow. Thank you. Thank you for showing up here. Thank you for being my mirror. And then we're going to bring one more being into our presence. And this is kind of a more advanced work a little bit. But I invite you to try. I want you to bring someone into your vision, into your mind's eye. And I don't want this to be the most difficult person in your life or in the world. But someone who maybe you have some assumptions about, a person who irritates you, a person who scares you, a person who drives you crazy. For me, it used to be Dick Cheney. That may change these days. But you don't have to start with Dick Cheney or you know who. Start with someone else. Maybe start with someone who you have very different views of. Maybe political views, maybe world views. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's just someone in your family who you haven't talked to in 20 years. Doesn't matter who it is. But someone who triggers you. You have a charge with. And I want you to now close your eyes, and I will too, and bring this person into your mind's eye, whoever they are. And they could be an anonymous person. Maybe it's someone who voted for a candidate you don't like, or who lives a very different lifestyle than you and maybe has some judgments about who you might be. Bring them into your mind's eye. Maybe it's a face you've never seen. Maybe it's a face that's all too familiar. And take a moment and just let them be there as a human being without any ideas of what they believe or what they think or what they do. But just see their basic humanness. And look into their eyes. And see that they too have confusions and fears, hopes and dreams. They have a voice in their head that beats them up all day, just like you. They're afraid of the unknown, just like you, just like me. And that they have a heart that loves their children, that loves their animals, loves their husband or wife, loves to laugh at silly jokes, loves a rainy day, and just for a few moments, see beyond the story in your head. To their very finite human life. See their suffering and their pain, their wounds. And send out some of that loving kindness that you yourself received today. Send it to their heart. And let yourself feel what that feels like. Whatever it feels like. It can feel wonderful, it can feel insane, it can feel horrible, doesn't matter. But just notice what it feels like. And then thank them. Bow to them if you want. Thank them for coming. When I do my sitting practice, one of the things we do in the Zen tradition is we dedicate our practice to all the beings, the sentient beings who are still suffering in the world, including ourselves. And so I just want to dedicate our practice today to all those sentient beings, humans, animals, even the rocks in the sea. Some might not call them sentient, but I do. So imagine yourself connecting with this entire earth. Maybe you have that picture from the moon of what the earth looks like, or maybe you're just hovering above it, or maybe you have a picture of some sort of beautiful landscape, and all the beings on it. And as we sit in silence these last few moments, let's dedicate our practice today to all these sentient beings. With body, speech, and mind, I send my heart out along with the sound of this bell to all beings. May they find their true home. Take a moment, stretch it out. Welcome back from the cosmos. So I hope that was good for everyone. Didn't know I was going to do that loving kindness meditation. It just came up and it was like, oh my God, I have to do the loving kindness meditation. Of course. This is the perfect day for it. Yeah, it's a practice. It's not a perfect. That's what practice means. It's about, showing up however we're going to show up, and doing it the way we're going to do it today. And it's not always perfect, but, and it should never be perfect. There is no perfect. I've been getting a lot of that lately. It's been really great. So welcome everyone. If you're just joining us, we were just sitting here with our eyes closed, meditating on Facebook Live, because that's what we're doing. We're here counter-programming. If you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Kelly. I'm your hostess for today. I have my friends John and Bridget here. They're sitting with me. It's lovely. We have a little triangle of love going on here. And so welcome. Yeah, that was a little loving kindness meditation. Yeah, we have blankets for you guys. If you guys are warm enough, you good out there in Facebook land? All right. So what were we just doing? We were focusing our attention. And that's really the message I want to talk about today is attention. As human beings with these big frontal lobes on these brains that have consciousness, yay, we have consciousness. We have attention, and we have the ability to focus our attention, to decide what we're going to watch, listen to, hear, see. I mean, we don't always get that choice, but for the most part, many of us in the Western world, in America, we have that choice. So, and that choice, a choice of attention is, as humans, this is our most precious resource and commodity. There's nothing else that's more precious. Than our actual physical body that keeps us alive, but where we focus all day creates the quality of our life. That's it. That's it. So if you focus on the crazy thoughts in your head, that's the quality of your life. If you focus on, like I have done before, social media, that's the quality of your thoughts in your life. So that's why we're here today doing some counter-programming. We're focusing our attention here with each other. And once again, thank you all for being here. It's very cool. Let me look at my little thing here. I don't know what's... oh, there's a little thumbs up that just went by. And there's lots of people watching. It's lovely. I have no idea how many people are watching, but that doesn't matter. To my ego it does, of course, but we won't focus my attention there. Oh, now there's lots of hearts. Now my ego's really happy. So really, this is something to think about, your attention. We're here by no accident this morning. The inauguration is going on, and this is the counter-programming of the inauguration. And this isn't about putting our head in the sand and ignoring what's going on in the world. I'm not a fan of that. But at the same time, this is about knowing that if you spend all day watching the news and being on social media, you will get into panic mode. Just because that's what media wants you to be in, is panic mode. So it's your job to decide how much of that you want to take in and the quality of what you want to take in. When I went off of social media for 3 months this summer, the quality of my life went way up because I was no longer distracting my head and my mind and my life with everyone else's thoughts and all sorts of things. Oh, I'm talking over there. They're checking out the feed. So, how much attention do you want to spend the next day, week, month, year, 4 years on feeling terrified and panicked versus being informed and going about your life? And this is the big question for all of us. It's a big moral question. I've been wrestling with it myself because I'm ready to move to Antarctica so that I don't have to listen to any of this. So, you know, this is the big question. What kind of daily practice can you have where you can at least spend 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 an hour, whatever it is, away from the frenzy, away from what's going on out there, and really connect to what's really going on around you in that moment. Like, what's real? Like, what's real right now? Sitting in a beautiful room, sitting with 2 friends, it's raining outside, got a little fire going. That's real. This is really going on. Is there a lot of suffering going on in the world right now? Yes, absolutely. We could focus on Syria, think about the people there, hold our hearts for them. We could think about the people in Washington, D.C., who are really excited right now that their guy won and they've got hope again. Some of us remember what that feels like. Remember that 8 years ago? They're feeling that today. That's real. That's happening. But we get to decide the quality of our moments and our attention, even when we can focus on the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever that means to you personally. So this is a question to maybe jot down in your journal tomorrow or later today. Where do I want to put my attention in my life going forward? How do I want to be a human being the next 4 years? What kind of citizen do I want to be? What kind of balance do I need in my life? If I am going to engage more politically or as a citizen, what kind of restoration practices do I need? Because there can be a lot of burnout around activism and around being on social media or watching the news all the time. So how am I going to restore myself? How am I going to turn off those things so that I'm not focused on them all the time? You have to have a balance. Otherwise you will go crazy. So that's a question to ask yourself. And here's the other thing about the practice that I do. It's not about like unicorns and sunshines and roses and rainbows. It's not like what they call a spiritual bypass, which is, oh, I'm just going to be in peace and bliss and think happy, positive thoughts and only be in joy and just avoid all of this other stuff. That will bite you in the ass in the end, because whatever you're avoiding, whatever you resist, persists. Denial is a motherfucker. So we have to sit with what is. But we don't have to be sitting with what is 24/7. But we have to sit with what is. And here's what I understand what is that the world, as it has been for the last 10, 15, 16, 17, pretty much since the millennial change, we're in a huge state of flux. Huge state of flux. And there are forces that are so big that, as individuals, we can't understand them all or even try to understand them all or control them all. Nobody can. Things are moving. Things are shifting. And I'm not talking in some sort of woo-woo, new agey way. I'm talking about just the world. The new generations are being born. Their thinking is different. Economics is different. Technology is different. There's so much difference going on in every institution, as we've known for the last 15, 16 years, is not able to keep up. So here we are now, in this very weird time with this reality TV star who is our president, who we don't know anything about, really. It's all unknown. So this is happening. So it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride for everybody, even for the people who voted for this guy. It's a bumpy time. So how do you want to be in this bumpy time? How do we want to be? Who do we want to be? How do we want to show up here? And in every moment we can make that choice. But only if we're aware of the choice we're making in that moment. So, you know, some days I want to be the woman who says, fuck you, fuck it, fuck, I hate this fucking shit. And other days I want to say, oh, God, please just find some love in my heart to send out to all beings who are suffering, including our new president, who I'm guessing by now has put his hand on both Bibles at the same time, do you think? Oh, there I go, getting snarky. Sorry. But who do we want to be? And who are we being in the moment? And sometimes I'm a snarky cunt. And sometimes I am the one who's going to lead you through Buddhist meditation. That's who I am. That's who we all are. So know that. We're in flux. We're all in flux. Everything is in flux. And know that we don't have to get into the fray all day long. You know, I find myself going on Twitter and I want to retweet every little thing and I want to get outraged and I want to get panicked. That's not going to help us. That's not actually staying informed. That's being in an emotional state that's kind of out of control. Panicked mind, our reptilian brain, is fight, flight, or freeze. That's what it evokes, and not our higher, bigger, this part of our brain, which is our human brain, or our mammalian brain, which the mammalian brain is the one that actually connects, you know, that raises babies and empathy with babies and things like that. The oxytocin part of my brain, your brain. The fight or flight or freeze brain doesn't help us. It does if a tiger is about to attack you. It does if a semi-truck is coming at your car. And it does feel like that a little bit. I get it. I get it. So this is our practice, is trying to remember like, oh, my reptilian brain is freaking out. Oh, okay, what's really going on here? What do I really know about things? Not what I assume, not what I can make up, not what I make a story about, but what do I really know right now? These are things that I'm trying to do and will try to do. Oh, the Hafiz poem. Okay, so here's the book. Can you see it? So this book has been, it's, as you can see, it's got a lot of corners turned and everything. I led meditation for women once a week in my house. And we would always open the Hafiz at the end, and the Hafiz would have the last word. And he will today. But I was just kind of looking through things. Okay, this guy Hafiz, I just want to say, what is it, 14th century? 15th century? Something like that. Long time ago guy. All right. And this is translations by Daniel Ladinsky. And he does these really kind of modern translations of this very old poetry. Sufi. You're going to love this. Okay. This is the one I found this morning. It's called Crooked Deals. And this is kind of like we did the meditation earlier. Like, know that whatever is outside of us also lives inside of us. All right, here we go. Crooked Deals. There is a madman inside of you who is always running for office. Why vote him in? For he never keeps the accounts straight. He gets all kinds of crooked deals happening all over town that will just give you a big headache and glue to your kisser a gigantic, confused frown. So here's an amazing challenge to know that this man on the TV who will drive you crazy for the next however many years is a reflection of the madman in your own head. Yeah, that's fucking crazy, but it's true. So that's the practice. Oh, I have one of those in me too. Wow. Yeah, I know. All right, another poem. This is one of my favorites. This is by Mary Oliver. It's from a book called Dreamwork. You might know her poetry. Wild Geese is one of her famous ones. There's another one called The Journey. I don't know which one to read. Maybe I'll read Wild Geese. Hold on, let me find it. All right. I don't know, maybe I'll read Journey. Hold on a sec. Okay, now we're gonna do The Journey. But check out Wild Geese. You can find it online anywhere. Mary Oliver, The Journey. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles, "Mend my life," each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Now, from my understanding about this poem, this is not about selfishness. This is about putting on the oxygen mask of yourself first. Otherwise, you can't put the oxygen mask on the child next to you. This is about your daily practice. This is about, for us codependents, and I know there's quite a few of you out there, this is about taking care of ourselves first. And this can feel like the most selfish, horrible thing in the world, but there's so much to save. There's so much suffering. My job is to do that. There's a lot of voices in our head that we've been trained into, to ignore that we have to take care of these bodies, this mind, this heart, if we are going to be able to be present for the rest of the world. So this is an invitation to take care of yourself first. And that when you do that, the life you save is more empowered, has more clarity, has more energy, and can actually do better work in the world. That other one that's frazzled and trying to save everybody and save everything, not helping at all. You just look like a crazy person with all the voices in your head. So self-care is essential right now. Essential. It's not selfish. It is putting the oxygen mask on first. Because when you walk out in the world, if you've done some meditation or some yoga or whatever you do to take care of yourself, and you've connected back to yourself, and your feet really feel like they're on the ground, and you walk out into the world, you're doing great work just by walking through the world that way. Believe it or not, you are. People can see it. People can feel it. You're just bringing a quality of life to things. Oh, my husband's about to walk in. Hi, Bob and Stella. We're on live on Facebook. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so I'm going to wrap things up here. How long have we been on? Oh, I don't know. How long have we been?
1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour. Perfect. Wrap things up in an hour. Look at me. I have a clock inside my head. Who knew that? So I'm going to wrap things up with a David White poem. And if you guys write some questions down below in the comments, I'll get to them later today. I'll spend the day and I'll answer questions or whatever. And little Stella's here, my little Jack Russell. I think you know her. She's being very cute. So this is a poem by David White. David White, Welsh poet. If you don't know him, like one of my favorite humans on earth. Read everything he's ever written. He writes prose too. Okay. I mean, I could read every single one of these poems and they'd be perfect for right now, but no, we picked this one in particular. All right. Okay, so this one's called, well, first we have to let Bridget get her phone because it's ringing. But it didn't ring during the meditation, at least. Thank God. All right. By David White, and that's Whyte. See it there? River Flow. This is all of his big poems here. All right. This is called Start Close In. And let me tell you, you got to hear him read it because he's got a Welsh accent, and oh my God. All right. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing, close in. The step you don't want to take. Start with the ground you know. The pale ground beneath your feet, your own way of starting the conversation. Start with your own question. Give up on other people's questions. Don't let them smother something simple. To find another's voice, follow your own voice. Wait until that voice becomes a private ear listening to another. Start right now. Take a small step. You can call your own. Don't follow someone else's heroics. Be humble and focused. Start close in. Don't mistake that other for your own. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing. Close in, the step you don't want to take. David White. Yeah, good stuff. Man. All right. Guys, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your love, your little hearts, your little thumbs, your questions. Thanks for being part of the counter programming. I'm going to do more of these in the future. Very excited. And have a great Friday. See you at the march tomorrow in LA if you happen to be there. Or go to the movies tomorrow. Whatever you're doing, do it. Do it. Just do it. Love you all. And go fuck yourself.
Peace out.
Peace out.